That is wrestling ballet. My sense, look, he's out for the whole season. He's not coming back in 2 weeks to save the Giants. The Giants stink. 500 Scadaboos can't save them. He was always going to come back next year. Does it look sort of dumb? Okay, it looks sort of dumb, but it doesn't affect his timeline at all.
It doesn't. I'm going to agree with you right down the line. It's the optics. That's all it is. That's right. That's all it is. Anybody who knows anything about wrestling and those New York talk show hosts have to know about wrestling. No matter what generation you followed. I didn't follow John Cena and all the Undertaker. I didn't follow any of that. I followed Bruno Sammartino.
Ricky Starr.
I can identify with that in New York, even though he wasn't in Chicago. It's all choreographed.
That's right.
Yes, but you still can have stuff happen.
But it didn't look like it did.
People still get hurt.
But it didn't look like it did.
Even in the choreography.
I understand.
So when I saw it, I went, whoa, with Scadaboos out there? Yeah. But you're right. Stop. Just get over it. He's out for the season.
You know what Giants fans ought to worry about? What? Who's the next coach going to be? Ooh. Don't worry about this kid. This kid will be there in September. Let's take a break. Coming up, Patrick Mahomes regrets a decision made late in the Chiefs' loss to the Broncos, and we will ask Steve Young about that.
We'll also ask him whether a bad call that went his way ever made him feel guilty. You know what my wrestlers were? Dick the Bruiser, Nick Bockwinkel.
Remember
the Black?
We've got some NFL questions for our great friend, the man who just edged me out for second in the 1983 Heisman Trophy voting, Hall of Famer Steve Young. Let's start with this. Patrick Mahomes says he regrets a moment on the Chiefs' final drive when he noticed a pre-snap shift with one of Denver's safeties that could have opened up a long pass, but he didn't trust it. He threw a short pass incompletion instead. Do you recognize that feeling that Mahomes had?
I'm smiling because that's the job of quarterback, is like managing it happening all the time. And I love that the vulnerability of Patrick to express it, to actually tell people like that happens. How many times does that happen? You know, you think about every Monday is that time when the team comes together in the offensive team room and they watch the film in the dark, in the silence. And as the coach goes back and forth, how many times would we be in the middle of in a place coming that ruined the game, and it was me throwing an interception or something, and you could see the read, and you could hear the offensive lineman like groan, like, oh, here it goes, oh, like you play quarterback, or you know the read, or that you know what's coming, but everyone can play quarterback, and so it's not just worrying about it in the game and missing it moment. You got to worry about it on Monday. Because now the whole team in silence, you got to wait for the groan for everybody's like, really? So I started after time when someone would make a mistake or drop a ball, I'd because someone had to groan about somebody else than just the quarterback. Because everybody, I mean, Brett Jones and Jerry Rice and like Corey Harrison Hurst, they thought they could play quarterback, which I understand, like everybody wants to. But, like in the meeting room, just let the quarterback screw up and go by every once in a while. Like, it doesn't have to, we don't have to groan every time it was a team.
Feet to the fire, Steve. Feet to the fire.
Feet to the fire, baby.
Yeah. We're going to stay with the Chiefs for a second, who, of course, 5-5. Playing the 8-2 Colts on Sunday, is there anything different that a leader or leaders would do this week, knowing that they're all going into what pretty much is a must game on Sunday?
So you think about the Chiefs, they have the mantra we had back in the 80s and 90s with the 49ers, like, of course, Super Bowl or bust. We own it. And that's a fact. And because you own that, every game is a must win. Every game is the game of the week. Every game is being covered by, your Sunday night or Monday, or, it's like the national game. So you get used to having that be the norm. And so you get to this moment, which is a must-win game, and the Chiefs are built for it. They're that team that, we're 5-5, we've screwed up, Super Bowl or bust, and now we got to prove it to one of the better teams in the league, and it's on us. And I think the best comes out in the teams that are ready for that kind of thing, and the worst comes out for the guys that aren't ready. And I just think the Chiefs are that team that can respond.
Speaking of teams with Super Bowl or bust attitude, the Eagles benefited from just an awful interference call against the Lions late in Sunday's game. As a quarterback, if you get the benefit of a call, does any part of you ever feel guilty that you got it? Or, does it average out? What's the feeling there?
this is, you're asking me about review, or microscopic review of the. But you started to believe in the rub of the green. Like, you believed that in time it would even out. But the pain of a screwed up call that you knew changed the game. Remember, as a quarterback, your number one relationship was with the head referee because he's standing right next to you. And so the best relationships I had on the field were with the head referees through the years. Ongoing conversations from game to game, talking about plays, what happened, and you loved that. The art of the great head referees were that they got the sense of it. They knew it's like, oh, we screwed that one up, or yeah, sorry about that, Steve. That was, or yeah, you lucked out there because, like you had that going on. But what I hated were the robots. The head referees that were robots, because then they weren't going to be contextual to the moment. They'd feel it. And that's what happened against the Philly in the Eagles game. The moment overwhelmed that referee, that backline judge or whoever it was, because it's like, yeah, that's a call that you don't make most of the time. You certainly don't call it in the fourth quarter, and you never do it with the game on the line, because it's a rub of the green, bro. Like, that's something you don't get in the way of. Like, leave it alone. But they're trying to get rated so they can get a playoff game. So they're like, oh, that's officially, I think, by technicality, that's a foul. And he throws the flag and the game's over. It's like, no, bro, that was not a foul, contextual to the moment.
We will get you out of here on this, and we've talked about this all week. You've been a starter and a backup in your career. Shedeur Sanders had 0 practice snaps with the first team when he entered that game on Sunday. What sort of a position does that put you in as a quarterback?
Well, I'm telling you, that's super hard, right? Like to as if prepare for a game that you don't get practice snaps, you don't get the opportunity. Like, that's a tough spot. Best advice I ever got, and I'm sorry if I've said this before, was when I was backing up Joe Montana. I hated that because that wasn't the job that I wanted. It wasn't the job that I thought I was going to have. And one of my mentors grabbed me and says, you know what, Steve, the problem with you is that you don't understand that the job that you want, that you need, that you think you deserve, you can't have until you're the best in the world at the job you have today. And so to be a great backup was painful for me to hear, like backup, great. But what I did was I took his word. It stung me. I'm going to be the greatest backup. And what you do is you prepare as if every week you memorize.